because something's gone terribly wrong. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, Outside Edition, and in nature. Who'd have thought it? I'm out and about again, and I've picked a terrible day to record because it's incredibly windy, obviously, but I've seen people online creating art using tree branches and stuff, so I thought we would attempt today to find a tree branch and smack a canvas with it and come up with some nice artwork, hopefully. Also, I've got a new gimbal. This is just like me sidetracking. So everything should be like nice and smooth and lovely. I have spent the past hour trying to get this gimbal to work and I don't even think it's following us. Like if I move it, it's supposed to follow us. Why don't you follow us for? Unless there's a different setting. I don't know how it works. I'm honestly so shit with technology. Oh, wait. There's a follow. That's what I want.
Bye, bitch.
Oh, no. No. I'm the other way. I'm the other way.
Come back!
What have I done? Oh, you're coming back. Hello. Still don't know how this works, and I still don't think it is working because it wants to go somewhere else. I'm right here. Pay attention to me, gimbal. I need a branch. I need a branch. This might actually be the last video I ever film on the farm because hopefully I'll be in my house eventually at some point. Right, let's find a branch. I have to be quick because I think it's gonna rain. I found a branch though, I'm just de-leaving it. Oh, there's a tractor now. There's a tractor in the field. I think it's spreading shit. This video is off to a terrible start, I can only apologise. I think this painting technique as well, it's supposed to be like dead relaxing. Obviously I'm doing it, so, you know, we're running into difficulties. I don't understand why it's vibrating for. I hope that's not coming through on the video. Ugh, I hate technology, honestly. I need to hire a camera person who will happily do the job for like no money because I'm proper shit at it. Have you noticed? I'm really, really bad at stuff like this. But the whole point of this was to get a stick, and I got a stick, so I'm happy about that. And now I just need to smack a canvas with it. There's also now an aeroplane flying above. Just can't get a break, can I? This is why I don't film outside, because it is an absolute arse on. Honestly, it's, I don't know how people do it. I'm just going for a black acrylic, by the way. And then what you want to do is just paint your branch, not drop it on the floor. And this is supposed to be like a therapeutic thing, apparently.
Why?
I don't know whether I'm feeling very relaxed or energized or, I don't know, therapeutic. I feel like I'm quite stressed actually. I feel like it's having the opposite effect on me. Also, it's really cold outside. I don't know why I'm wearing shorts for. I am still here. I just don't have a camera person, unfortunately. So you can't see us painting my branch, but I'm just doing the same thing down here, alright? So once you've got your tree branch painted, now you just need to whip your canvas. I don't think this is going to work. I just have a weird feeling this entire video is going to be an absolute waste of time. Okay, it looks different, but it doesn't look like what I've seen online, so mine's not going to look as nice. I'm just going to add more paint and try again. That's just, it's too ambiguous, it's too abstract. You know what? I'm going to try and make this work. This isn't what I planned, obviously. I'll meet you back in the studio and we'll take it from there, alright? I'm back. It's actually a new day. It's a very new day. I haven't just popped on a different t-shirt and a different hat because I need to let this paint dry, and some of the areas were actually quite like thick and chunky, so it took a little while. And at this point I should technically have some nice tree prints to be able to make some sort of like painting with it. Obviously like a landscape, but if you look at mine, it doesn't really look like anything, does it? No. I don't know whether I see trees. In fact, I don't see trees at all. I could have whipped this canvas with anything. Wouldn't have mattered. And I was trying to figure out what kind of way I wanted the painting to be. And I've landed on this way. This landscape is speaking to us for some reason. And the next step is to basically go into this and add some extra paint, add some extra detail, and turn it into something that you want. And I've seen people do loads of different kinds of things. So at this point, I just want to do what I fancy. So I think the first step, I fancy a nice colourful watercolour wash. I think that'll be very nice. I'm going to try and make a landscape, I think. Sometimes I find it just fun to go with the flow and see what happens, you know? So I'm thinking some sort of sky up here, but I kind of want like some reds in there too, like a proper like fiery, moody sky. I think this is the fun step of obviously just doing what you kind of want and bringing your painting to life. And obviously I was disappointed the fact that none of my tree prints showed up on this. However, I think if I had gotten tree prints, it would have limited us to what I actually wanted to do. Obviously, it would have had to have been trees. I think I'm still going to do trees, but it would have just been a little bit more literal, wouldn't it? Whereas I've got this abstract splatter. I can do absolutely anything with it. I could turn this into a city landscape if I wanted to. I don't think I'm going to. I'm sure I can smell something burning. I can't see anything on fire, so I might just be having a little stroke. I definitely smell smoke. I really do. I smell fire. Oh, you know what? It's the paint. The paint smells a bit burnt for some reason.
The champagne was obviously frozen in the bottle at some point.
It's so strange. It's got like a bit of a smoky smell to it. At least I've established my studio's not on fire, so that's nice. Right, I think that's all the light blue I want. And then I want to go in with some darker blue along the top. And then down at this bottom, just want to go for a bit of brown. And weirdly, even though only like 2 days have passed, so much has happened in the past 2 days, it's unreal. So you know, obviously about the house and stuff. This final step, it's kind of been dragging a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. Like the seller's solicitors have been taking ages to do their bits and stuff, so I've just been kind of waiting, chasing up, hurrying things along, trying to get people to do their jobs. And anyway, the same day I did this, the first part of this, in the afternoon, I got a phone call and we've set a completion date.
Finally.
So that's fantastic. Completion date's next week. So I think if everything goes correctly, and what's supposed to happen now is I get the keys next week, I believe, and then I'll legally be a homeowner.
Oh, fuck!
That's a bit terrifying, isn't it? I think the biggest shock was me having to pay my solicitors the remainder of my legal fees and my deposit. So I just watched my bank balance basically erode. It was terrifying. It's the most money I've ever spent in my entire life. But there should be some fun things coming up, I suppose. We'll see what happens. And then another thing that's been going on. Yesterday, I decided to get botox.
Yeah, bracky.
And people might be thinking, oh, why get botox for, blah, blah, blah. I stare at my face for many, many hours, okay? And I probably see myself more than the average person looks at themselves, if that makes sense. So I'll be editing and I will see, you know, my face starting to get a bit wrinkly, a bit kind of
Decrepit.
you know, not what it used to be.
Look at me.
And at the end of the day, I work with a bunch of nurse practitioners who all practice in like Botox and cosmetics and all that kind of other stuff. I say, you know what? I think it's time. I think it's time to get on top of my face. You won't be able to tell yet because I think it takes about 10 days or something for Botox to fully like take effect. If it does take effect, some people can actually be immune to Botox. Your face can repel it. So I'm hoping my face isn't one of them. It basically just like stiffens the muscles or something, doesn't it? And I think it just prevents further wrinkling. And not that I'm saying anyone needs to go get it done or anything like that. And I'm also not advocating for kind of Botox or plastic surgery or any of that kind of stuff. And I think if anyone is going to get it done, you should get it done because you want it for yourself. It shouldn't be because someone else is wanting it, if that makes sense. You shouldn't be pressured into it. And also, if you are going to get it done by someone proper, okay? If it ends up being advertised at really cheap and you think you're getting a good deal, it's probably because they're injecting you with all sorts of shite. So just be careful, and if you are planning on doing something like that, I think it's much better to actually spend the correct amount of money and get it done properly. I'd rather not get it done than pay cheap and risk having my face, you know, messed up by someone.
Oh, I don't like that.
And it does happen. We had a big case, I want to say a month or two ago, where I'm from, and this person who was practicing Botox, obviously they were doing it on the cheap, and I don't know what they were injecting people with, but it wasn't the right stuff. And people actually ended up getting botulism from it. So you have to be very, very careful. You know, you could end up going blind. Lots of things can happen. So just do your research if you are planning on getting something like that done. And also, not everyone needs it doing. Well, no one needs it doing, but not everyone wants it doing, and that's absolutely fine. Each to their own. We all have freedom of choice, don't we? But one thing I don't like is when people deny having like any kind of plastic surgery or cosmetic stuff done. They're just like, no, I haven't had it done. This is just my face. You'll see it on adverts. Companies will advertise a certain kind of like anti-wrinkle cream and stuff, and they'll have this celebrity on, and they're like, oh yeah, look, it's defined my wrinkles and got rid of this and blah blah blah. And the person who's saying this has had like 2 facelifts and actively gets Botox every other month. Like, it's got nothing to do with the cream. It's got everything to do with the facelift and the Botox you get. That's why your face is so smooth, okay? But no, I just thought I'd be open and honest. So if my face looks super tight and wrinkle-free in a couple of weeks' time, that's why. Or if in a couple of weeks' time I'm wearing an eye patch, it's because something's gone terribly wrong. Okay, I think that's kind of what I wanted it to look like. It looks like a fiery landscape, and then I'm gonna go in with some more detail. I don't know whether to wait for this to dry, actually. I might get my hair dryer. Just give it a quick blast. I actually think that's looking quite nice on its own. Like, if you look at that, it just, I don't know, it's just a bit simple, isn't it? A bit boring, but I don't mind it. But I'm just gonna take some pens and I wanna go back into this. And obviously I could turn this into anything I wanted to, but because I've started with trees, I'm gonna lean into the tree aspect of it and try and bring some sort of tree formation into this. Just want it to be kind of a little bit illustrative, a bit scratchy, and I'll just follow the marks I've already made and see what happens. Oh, this is kind of, I don't know, I feel it. It's speaking to us. It's doing something to us.
Yeah, spank me.
Because I feel like this should be like a knot of branches almost, like around here. You know when you get them trees where there's like a big kind of clunky knot of just like, I don't know, wood, I suppose. I feel like this is looking a bit aggressive, actually.
You son of a bitch! I hate this doctor!
I don't know, it feels a bit mean. I wasn't planning on that. It just feels a bit moody. Maybe he's saying something about me, I don't know. I don't feel angry today. I felt angry on the first day I was doing this, because everything was pissing us off. But today I'm quite chilled. Don't know why it's coming across so aggressive for. Hopefully it'll lighten itself up a little bit. Because the thing is as well, people don't realise art can say a lot about people and convey a lot of emotion. I think even subconsciously too. I don't know whether I want this to reflect me, but we'll see. I'll lighten it up, it'll be fine. Doesn't seem to be a lot happening here. Maybe there's a second tree coming down here. Okay, I feel like that's what it was saying to us. I don't know why. Just looks angry. Looks very angry. But now I'm gonna add some, I'm wondering whether to add some paint or something. I feel like it needs some sort of, I don't know, extra layer on top of this. This is like a nice base, but it needs something different. Everything's looking very dead, and I want it to look alive. I've had an idea.
Makes a change.
One thing I never ever seem to use is a palette knife, and I feel like this needs some sort of expression, and a palette knife will be perfect for it. I'm gonna go in with some acrylic paint. I hadn't planned on doing this, but it needs it. I'm thinking just lots of kind of greens and yellows. Right, I've got my paint on my palette, and I'm really gonna try my best to bring this to life. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of got in the zone with that. I really just went for it. I think when I first started, I was like, oh, this is shit. This is looking really muddy and ugly and horrible and blah, blah, blah. But then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna trust the process and go with it, go with the flow, see how I'm feeling. And I don't hate it. It's busy. It's a very, very busy painting, obviously, because I've done it. I'm obviously looking at it now. I'm kind of into it. Right, so here's my grand reveal of my painting. Everyone be kind. Ta-da! What do we think? I don't think it looks too bad. I don't think it'll obviously be to everyone's taste, and this isn't a complicated, complex piece of artwork that necessarily means something. It was just me kind of chucking around colour, playing with texture and stuff. And then there's a bit more up close with some of the textures. It's very thick with paint. I, for some reason, think it's given almost like Miami vibes. It feels like it's got a Miami palette to it. I don't know why. That could just be me. But I don't think it's too bad. I'm not a huge fan of the trunks and the background. I think the trees look quite interesting, and obviously the tree branches and stuff. But I think the background and the tree trunks make it look a little bit flat. But that's just me critiquing my own artwork and picking it apart. And quite frankly, if I framed this and put it on my wall, I'd be quite happy to look at it every day. I think it's a very pleasant painting, and this all came about by just smacking a tree branch across a piece of canvas. I had no intention nothing, and this was never in my mind of making something like this. But yeah, not too bad. I'm quite pleased with myself. I might hang it in my new house eventually. Although, to be fair, I've got loads of artwork. I don't know whether I'm going to have space to hang everything, but I'll try my best. You know what I'm like.
Yeah.
So I think that just about does it for today's arty video. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and let me know down in the comments how much you're willing to pay for my piece of artwork if it ever went on sale. I expect offers over £1 million, just saying.
Done.
And also I wanted to say, and I'm pretty sure I've said it many times before, if you're not necessarily good at something or you don't have skills, like for example painting skills and stuff, you don't need to be amazing at painting to do a painting. You can paint regardless of your skill level or what you make. You can literally just get a palette knife and chuck loads of paint down and come up with something. I think some artists in the world and online and stuff, they make art seem very difficult and that it has to look a certain way and that you have to use certain techniques in order to create paintings and to create pieces of work that are worthy. And you don't. You really don't. You can do anything you want with art. I can't stress it enough. You can be as creative and as free with art as you want. And especially if art's just a personal thing for you, who cares what anyone else thinks? And quite frankly, even if it's not personal to you, also who cares what anyone else thinks? It's your own piece of artwork. If I wanted to, I could get a canvas like this, I could paint my arse cheeks with acrylic paint and just wipe my arse all over a canvas and it could be a piece of artwork. And that's my own personal artwork, my arse art. And it would be fantastic, it would be lovely. That's coming up next week. I'll be painting with my arse. I obviously won't, I really won't. But that could be a thing, you know? Some people paint with their, like, you know, their down below bits. They do, they actually do. And they, to be fair, some of them who paint with their down below bits can paint better figuratively than I can with my hands. So I don't know what that says about me. I also don't know what that says about them though. How can you be that skilled with that? They must spend a lot of time touching it.
Oh my God, she's amazing.
Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked, obviously. But anyway, if you want me to try any other art processes or techniques or anything like that, feel free to leave them in the comments. And you know what I'm like, I'll give it a go. I don't care if I'm shit at it. I don't care if I'm good at it either. I also need a title for my painting. I'm thinking maybe it's like Apple Trees Gone Wild. Or it could be called Not Painted by My Arse. And that would lead people to think, ooh, like what's happening? Not painted by my arse. Where's the arse painting at? Dunno. What shall we call it? Also let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments everything, okay? Let me know how much you're willing to pay for it. Obviously over £1 million. The name of the piece of artwork. And if you've got any other painting techniques. I want to know everything. Also tell us your date of birth and your favourite animal and where you want to go on holiday. I'm joking, don't tell us all of that stuff. I think that actually might be a security risk, so don't do that. I don't think YouTube will let it anyway.